Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My dear students, this is lecture 3. We are still talking about the consonants of English after we have finished talking about fricative sounds and stop sounds. It's time now to talk about affricate sounds or affricates. Sorry. So, what are affricates? Actually, in English, we have two affricates only, ch and j. Ch and j. Actually, these are special kind of consonants, and they are often described as being complex. So why are they special? Why are they described as complex sounds? Let us see. Actually, these two sounds, the affricates of English, are just like a combination of two consonants, one after the other. They start like stops, as the air is trapped for a short time, like stops, and they are released with friction, just like fricatives. So we need a stop first and a fricative sound second. So this is a combination of a stop plus a fricative sound. Okay? That's why we call them complex, because they can be thought of as being two sounds which are combined together. As they are a stop, they include a stop plus a fricative sound. If we have a look at the sound ch, we may clearly see that the first part of this consonant is a t sound, a stop sound, and the second part is a fricative sound, sh, t, stop, sh, fricative. D is a stop, j is a fricative, and the result is j. Okay? So, do we have these consonants in Arabic, in standard Arabic? Actually, ch is not found in standard Arabic. We have only j, and it is a very frequent consonant in Arabic. But in accents of Arabic, we have the sound ch. In Iraqi Arabic, for example, we have always this consonant whenever we are addressing a female, like gitlich, jibitlich, khabartich. So ch is very frequent. Al-hachi, tamam. And j as well is also found in Iraqi Arabic. In the accents of the Gulf, the Arab Gulf, also we have this sound frequently. So the conclusion is that in standard Arabic, which is al-Fusha, we only have j sound, we don't have ch sound. But in some accents of Arabic, we do have both consonants. Now, how to pronounce the affricate sound? First of all, as we said, we have a stop sound. So what do we need? We need a complete closure. We need a complete closure, and the air should be trapped for a short time. So in both consonants, ch and j, the tip of the tongue is raised to be in complete contact with the back of the alveolar ridge. Hence, the oral cavity is closed, so we have a complete contact. At the same time, the soft palate is raised and the nasal cavity is closed. So both the nasal cavity and the oral cavity are closed. So the air is trapped for a short time. As you remember, these three steps were very necessary in the pronunciation of any stop sound like t, d, k, g, p, b. Okay? A complete closure in the oral tract, the soft palate is raised, both cavities are closed, the air is trapped for a short time. After that, here, we should pay attention to the rest of the organs of speech. While we are still having the complete closure, the rest of the organs of speech should prepare themselves to pronounce the next sound, which is either sh or j in this case. what will happen here? The tip of the tongue will move away and the tongue takes the position necessary to produce the post-alveolar sh and j. If you try moving from t to sh, one after the other directly, you are going to feel that the tip of the tongue is lowered when we move to sh, and almost the blade of the tongue is in contact, but in partial contact, not complete this time, with the alveolar ridge. Now practice with yourself and try to feel t, sh, t, sh, t, sh, d, 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 d. Okay, so this is very clear if you pay attention. Now, what do we have here? We should have the friction necessary for the sh and the j sounds because they are fricative sounds. So we need a complete closure for the stop sound, complete closure. Then we have friction, which is very necessary to the pronunciation of sh and j. If you want to have a look at the shape of the speech organs in the pronunciation of these two sounds, have a look at figure 19, page 47. Now, we concluded up to this point that ch and j are both affricate sounds. They are not fricatives. Affricate sounds. And post-alveolar. They are affricate, post-alveolar, but ch is voiceless while j is voiced. Ch is voiceless. You can try by yourself. Put your fingers on the side of your neck and say ch, 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 ch. No vibration. But if you move to j, you will definitely feel the vibration in the vocal cords. J, 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 j. Okay? So, based on this distinction, we can say that ch is a voiceless, strong sound, while j is a voiced, weak sound. Okay? Now, the friction we have in sh is more than the friction we have in ch. We agree that we should have a friction, correct? But what kind of friction we have? Actually, it is less friction than the one we have in sheep compared to cheap. Cheap, sheep. Sheep has more friction. The sh has more friction than the friction we have in ch. The same thing is with j alone and j. J. Here we have the j. The j is has less friction compared to the j sound alone. In terms of distribution, we can find these sounds, the two sounds, in all positions. Ch initially, like chin, chair, watches, matching, etc. Rich, pitch, and j. We have gem, jam, medially, danger, messenger. We have final position like large. So we conclude that these two sounds can occur in all positions, initially, medially, and finally. Now, the question is, which is a very important one, do we make any combination of a stop sound plus fricative sound and affricate? So for example, the word breakfast. Here we have the k sound, which is a stop sound, and fa, which is a fricative sound. Can we make them an affricate? The answer is no. The answer is no. We cannot. Why? Look, with ch and j, the t and the sh, the d and the j are both here and both here produced at the same position by the same organs of speech. Here we have the tongue with the alveolar ridge. Here we have the tongue with the alveolar ridge. But if we look at k and fa, we are going to see that k is a velar sound. How do we produce it? We produce it when the back of the tongue is raised to be in contact with the soft palate. While fa is a labiodental sound. It is a labiodental sound, which means it is pronounced when the lower lip is raised to be in contact with the upper front teeth. So they are not produced by the same organs of speech, they are produced by different organs of speech. So we cannot make them an affricate sound. So to make an affricate sound from a combination of a stop plus fricative sound, these two sounds should be homorganic. Homorganic. What do you mean by homorganic? It means they are produced by the same organs of speech. Homo means the same. Homo means the same. Homorganic, the same organs of speech. So ta and sha, da and ja, both are all produced by the tongue and the alveolar ridge. Okay? Why we cannot make ka and fa an affricate? Because they are produced at different places and by different organs of speech. So an affricate should be a combination of a stop plus fricative, but these should be homorganic, which means they are produced by the same organs of speech and they are produced at the same place. Now let's have a look at a quick look actually at the nasal sounds. Simply speaking, we have three nasal sounds in English: na, ma, and ing. Actually, I should have prepared the book so that we can have a look at the figures. This is the textbook, Better English Pronunciation. Hopefully it will take, yeah, that's good. Look, have a look at the pronunciation of ch and j. Look, ch and j. Here, the soft palate is raised, so the nasal cavity is closed. At the beginning, when we produce the t or the d, also the oral cavity is closed for a short time because of the contact between the tip of the tongue and the alveolar ridge. When we want to produce the friction necessary for sh and j, we should lower the tip of the tongue and make a narrow opening here between the blade of the tongue and the alveolar ridge, the back of the alveolar ridge. This is how we produce ch and j. Now let's move to have a look at the figures of ma, na, and ing. Okay, these are the figures of ma, na. Then we are going to talk about ing. Okay, so the pronunciation of nasals, as you know, we have discussed this before so many times. Nasal sounds are produced when the soft palate is lowered and the air can pass through the nasal cavity. But we have a condition. We should have one more thing in order to have a nasal sound. Not just the soft palate is lowered. The mouth cavity or the oral cavity should be blocked at certain point. So in order to have a nasal sound, first of all, the soft palate should be lowered. Second, the oral cavity should be closed or blocked. Okay, so that the air cannot flow outside through the mouth. For the ma sound, the mouth cavity is closed by the lips, as you can see in figure 20. Let's have a look at figure 20. Look, the two lips are closed firmly and the oral cavity is closed. The soft palate is lowered, the air can go out through the nose. So this is a nasal sound. For na sound, the complete closure takes place actually between the tip of the tongue and the alveolar ridge, so that the air is trapped for a short time here, but since the nasal cavity is open, the air will pass through the nasal cavity. For the ing sound, this is the figure of ing sound. It is just like ke and ge. It's a velar sound. Look, the back of the tongue is in contact with the soft palate, so the oral cavity is closed, but luckily the soft palate is lowered and the air can go out through the nasal cavity. This is how to produce the sound ing, 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 ing. Okay? So these are the three nasal sounds we have in English. Actually, ma and na are not supposed to be problematic for Arab learners, Iraqi learners in particular, because ma and na are both found in Arabic. But the problem is with the ing sound, because this ing sound is not found in in standard Arabic, and neither in Iraqi Arabic or other Arabic accents. Okay, they are very frequent, the ma and the na, but the ing is not. That's why we expect difficulties. We normally and frequently hear people say wrong side. It's not wrong side with na, and it is not wrong side. It's wrong side, wrong side, wrong. There is an ing here. It's not. It's neither na nor ge. It's ing. Actually, you need to practice a lot in order to improve your pronunciation in this sound, because as I said, it is not found in Arabic. That's why it's supposed to be difficult. Okay, now if I ask you in the exam, practically prove that the ma sound is a nasal sound, how can you prove that? How can you prove it practically, not theoretically? Think of an answer to this question. Thank you very much. I hope to see you again soon. Bye bye.